Yeah. What's up, everybody? I wanted to just do a little talk about the memberships and answer any questions. Let me move my laptop closer so I can see the chat. All right. So I hope everybody's doing well and been enjoying the stuff I've been uploading. It's been fun working on it, and the plan for the rest of this year is to put in as much effort as I can onto this channel in between all the whatever work I end up having the rest of the year, because obviously no gigs. So just the production and studio work that I have coming up, just balancing that alongside working on the channel, and I'm excited about it. So I don't know if anybody's in here yet, but I'm having a good time. Well, so yeah, let's talk about the memberships, and I'll answer any questions. So basically, I've launched the membership portion of YouTube, and there's 3 tiers: the beginning rulers, the intermediate rulers, and the effing rulers. And basically, the beginner rulers are for people who really just want to support me. It's super cheap, and there's not a lot of bonus stuff. You get custom emojis and badges, and you'll get access to streams like this that are members only. And I plan on doing members only streams, maybe once every 2 weeks or something like that, if I can keep up to the schedule. So that's what you'll get on the first tier. The second tier, the intermediate rulers, will get all those same things, but then you'll get exclusive videos that I'll post to members only portions of the channel. I've already started to do that. So that's exciting. And in the future, there'll be more emojis and badges for every level. That's a YouTube thing. I have them ready, but YouTube won't let me upload them until you get a certain number of members. And then the third ruler, the third tier, the effing rulers, that gets you all those same things, but it also gets you access to my Discord, where members can come over and join the Discord, and we already almost have 30 people in there, and it's just a kind of free-form discussion, and I'm excited about it. It's already been kind of fun, people posting questions and gear and pictures, and I'm going to be hanging out in there, spending my time there, instead of I spend so much time answering questions on Instagram and Facebook, and I try to respond to everybody, and it's gotten to a level where I can't respond to everybody anymore. I'm kind of overwhelmed by the amount of messages I get, and I hate that feeling of not responding to someone, but it's just become just an avalanche of messages. So that's what we're talking about. Excuse me. Oh, yes, the live streams will be saved, absolutely, for members. And, of course, I'll be uploading stuff to the public page all the time. Like I did yesterday, I uploaded a lesson video about Brown Gatton, and it was a short, edited version of it. And if you remember now, you can already see the longer version where I dive into what I'm playing in the solo and I explain it. So that's part of my plan also. So I'm going to try to do, public streams and then members-only streams. And then the Discord, I have plans for a lot of things down the road as we get going and we build a real community. But I'd also like to know from you guys what you'd like to see on the channel content-wise, because I'm kind of thinking of it as a stream of consciousness, like a supersized Instagram, if you will. So one day it may be a lesson about a tune. One day it may be a lesson about blues or jazz or, maybe a theoretical lesson, music theory. One day I might want to talk about, the Ohio Players. and why their guitar player sounds so good, and what are they doing in these tunes. Or one day I might want to talk about gear for the whole video. Or that's kind of what I'm looking at as doing, just kind of what I'm feeling like, but also kind of taking requests and seeing what everybody's into. So let me see what people are saying over here. What do I think of Jonathan Kreisberg? Oh, he's a bad dude. I've known him since I was a little kid. We're both from South Florida. Incredible musician. Just incredible. Soul and funk rhythm guitar. Yeah, so that's another thing with, lessons on here. I don't want it to be strictly just, hey, let me teach you this. I sometimes feel like I'm shouting at you, and there's a million people, doing lessons on YouTube. It's not what I want to solely do. Now, that being said, there are videos of mine on other channels on YouTube that have gotten a gazillion views, and it would be silly of me not to take advantage of that by repurposing some of those ideas into videos on my own channel. So I probably will do some of that. But I want the lessons to mean something. I don't want to just be coming at you with a lesson every day. I'd rather have a discussion. I'd rather talk about meaningful things in music, and just have it be more improvisational and free-flowing, not just let me teach you this. So, yeah, and again, somebody's asking about production stuff. I'm producing a lot of records these days. I can absolutely make videos about getting a guitar tone, about producing a record, about getting a drum tone. Rick has that covered, obviously, all production stuff on his channel, and he's more experienced of a producer than I am. But I do have my lane now as a producer, and I think I have things to share. So, yeah, all these things are I'm making a list, of things that I'm going to kind of do. I also have, performances that I've never uploaded, unreleased things. I've got a lot of things in the back of my mind that I can make for members only, but I'm not going to completely abandon the public page because I need regular subscribers as well. So I'm open to it all. Favorite current jazz guitarist? Well, Bruce Foreman is my favorite guitarist in the whole world. I love Julian Lage. I like Jonathan Kreisberg. I like Adam Miller. I love Adam Miller. He's my friend. I meant to say Adam Rogers for a straight jazz guitar player. Haznoi. There's a gazillion, but it's hard to beat George Benson and Bruce Foreman. Oh, that's another thing I'm going to do, collaborations. I've already started recording interviews with some of my best friends. It's going to be called Live from Flat 5, and it's just Zoom conversations, or when the world gets back to normal, maybe I'll actually have them come over in real life and, just talk. I have a list of questions, 10 questions that I'm going to ask everybody the same, and we'll just have a free-form conversation. Some of my friends who don't do this type of social media stuff at all, so I think that'll be a treat for some of you guys, hopefully. Yes, the polydigit is incredible. Yeah, Tom's Bukovac's videos are very off the cuff, and that's what I want to do. I don't want to just shout at you and label the video. We're working on melodic minor right now. No, I want to just kind of come at, I had an idea. I think people will dig this. I'm going to talk about it. So again, that idea may be strengthening your internal clock, or that idea may be how do you play downbeat chanks properly, like a Motown session guitar player, or that idea may be how do you really use a fuzz pedal? How do you get Jimmy tone? What do you do when you're backing up a singer? What do you do when you're backing up a harp player? Just whatever. It's not just theory lessons. It's guitar, music lessons, life lessons, just a discussion. I want to create a real community. Oh, the Chula is your favorite. Cool. I got a Chula emoji in there for everybody who's a member. They can start spamming with Chula emojis. If you're a member already, show people the emojis in chat. Because there's already some good ones. Ah, there's some emojis. Here's the Chula for you. Gotta love it, right? Plus, we'll talk about gear. Everybody knows I'm a big nerd, and I love talking about gear. Perfectly happy to do that. We're already talking about it on the Discord. In fact, somebody quickly said, Josh, you should pin in the Discord as a comment what gauge strings you use exactly, because the question will come up, every 14 minutes, as it has in my life for the last 20 years. Am I a fan of Scott Henderson? Of course. Also, he's a great friend. I mean, I've known Scott since I moved here to L.A., and he's a wonderful person and friend, and obviously he's one of the greatest guitar players on the face of the earth and one of the greatest improvisers just in general on the face of the earth. He's a special dude. So to acquire a membership, there's a button just next to subscribe that says join, or you go to my YouTube page, so youtube.com/JoshSmithGuitar/join, and then you choose what tier and you join. That's how you become a member. And again, that top tier gives you access to the Discord channel. And you'll see the second you log into one of the tiers, things open up that you can't see yet. And when you log into that top tier, you can see the Discord link and come over there, and you'll see we're already building a community, like I said. And whatever Chula wants, Chula gets. What's my favorite Dumble style pedal? I like the cymbal. I like the dude. But I realized I don't need that sound quite as much. I was, of course, enamored with it as a kid, and I love Robin Ford. But every time I go too deep down that rabbit hole, I realize it don't work personally for me. Have we finished working on Eric's record? Okay, so last week I was in Nashville for the last 13 days working on Eric Gale's record. So I'm co-producing it with Joe Bonamassa. And Joe and I put in an extreme amount of effort because we love Eric and we've loved him since we were children. And we worked really hard. We want to make this the best Eric Gale's record he's ever made. And I would say we put in more effort into his record than we have into our own records over the past few years, quite honestly. And Eric stepped up and brought it big time, and I can't wait for you people, everyone, to hear this record. It's not done. There's little things that have to be done. It takes time, to finish a record, but it's something really special, as Eric is something very special. And I hope that this is the record that it translates to, the non-guitar enthusiasts, the people who already love him, love him. I hope this is the record that translates to everybody so they can all take a step back and go, holy cow, man, this guy has something special here. And now I see it and I feel it. And so I'm really excited about that. I know Joe's very, very proud of what we've done, and as am I. And Eric should be very proud of the effort that he put in. And, yeah, I don't know a release date yet, but it's going to be very special. Do I have my Leslie before or after my drives? Leslie on my pedal board is on the H9, so it's the last pedal on this board. So there's Leslie and Chula. Here's a Danny Gatton trick. If you turn Leslie on, go both pickups on a telly, turn your tone all the way down, play stuff like this. singing tone buried in the back. Something Danny used to do a lot. Welcome to the beginner rulers. Yeah. Oh, I got the first super chat ever. Holy cannoli. I almost cursed. I don't know the rules yet on that. We can curse on Discord. Thank you for the super chat. I forgot that's a thing. The microvent is cool, yeah. And in the polydigit, I've made an insanely great Leslie. Sorry, in the Bebo. So look for that when that's more readily available, that preset. Any favorite players in other genres, like metal, hard rock? Of course. Eddie Van Halen is a huge favorite. Blue Saraceno, when I was a kid, was a giant influence, and now he's a close friend, which is a trip. I liked Randy Rhoads coming up. I liked Slash coming up. I loved Steve Vai. Obviously, I love a lot of jazz and country guitar players. Danny Gatton is, in my top 5. Roy Lanham is a name I throw out a lot, but I throw it out because people don't know it that often. And if you don't know Roy Lanham, you should go check that out. Lanham, Roy Lanham. What picks am I using? I'm using these Gravity 1.1 millimeter picks. They're like a Fender, heavy shape and size, but they're a little pointier, and they have a little bit of a grip on them, which I really like. But they also get a little funkier. I like the point lets me do, like. It just has a little more for me to dig into. I'm not one of those guys who uses the side of the pick. It was actually interesting to find out that Eric Gales used the side of the pick. I didn't know that until this week. But yeah, I like the point, and I actually like that this is slightly pointier than a regular Fender pick. What do I think of Marcus King? Obviously, he's, something special. People don't come along that often that sing and play like that at such a young age, As great as he is now, Jesus, I shudder to think what he will be when he's 35 years old, because, man, wow. Why 40 watts instead of 20? I just prefer the headroom. It's an important part of my tone. Headroom is a huge part of what I do because I'm trying to eliminate compression. So I want to have enough there that it never folds back on itself. Now, that doesn't mean sterile. I don't want a twin reverb, and that's also why I don't use Dumbles that often, because I want character, but I don't want something that gives up. So 40 watts is the perfect. It's something when you come up playing blues, as a child, and that's where your heart lies. You learn quick something special about 40-watt amp in a club, no mic on it, monitoring, just yourself, using your ears, the band self-mixing. No PA, you learn quick that's the special, secret level in a super reverb or something like that. It really is just the right thing. And in music I play, what do I find the most challenging? I try not to think of any. I mean, let's be honest. I don't play a lot of odd time signature stuff, so that's probably the most challenging for me when I'm forced to solo in some weird time signature. Learning a riff or playing rhythm in an odd time signature is fine, but soloing over it, proceed with caution. Oh, a new effing ruler. Bleep that out, YouTube. So, anyways, that's what I wanted to talk about. That's where the channel is heading and what I've got planned. I'm super excited about it. Hardest part of starting a career in music. Being okay with the fact that you may fail and still going all the way because you can't have a backup plan or else you will not succeed. And, let's face it, today's day and age is much different than the people that I admired coming up. They could play 7 nights a week and be a professional musician, live in a van, just tour all the time. I have to be spread out as thin as I can across as many little lanes of the highway. just to hopefully make ends meet and make it add up to a living. I mean, and let's just lay it all out on the table. I wouldn't be doing this YouTube stuff if, you know, that wasn't the case. You know, YouTube, True Fire. The pandemic has made it abundantly clear to me where my income actually comes from, and it's not quite as much from touring as I thought it was. So that means, okay, it's time to pivot, because who knows when touring is coming back to normal anyways. But maybe I should actually focus on the things that seem to be successful. So it's counteractive to what I want to be doing, which is playing gigs all the time. If I could play gigs every night with my two best friends every night and just make enough money that we're all smiling and happy to be there, I'd trade everything I could just to do that thing. Just play with my bros and have everybody be smiling and happy to be there and comfortable. That's all. That's the goal. But, you know, you constantly reimagine things and shift your goals. How do I like the Chase Bliss preamp? It's ruling. It's not on this board. So I'm redoing the middle-sized board, and it's going on there, and it's being done now. So, how do I challenge myself? Ooh, I challenging myself is an important part of my personality as a musician. If you'll notice, I don't ever rest on my laurels with my improvisation. I'm pushing myself to be a better guitar player tomorrow than I am today. Same with producing now, which, you know, is a new obsession. Same with everything. I want to be better tomorrow than I am today. So I don't take breaks. I don't take days off. I play every day, no matter what. And I work on things. I try to bring new things to not just to my vocabulary, to my technique, but just into my brain, into my heart. New thoughts, new feelings, so that I'm ever expanding what's available to come out of me. You know, it's really important to me. This sounds silly, but that when I listen to a tape, or not a tape anymore, but watch a video back of me playing from 6 months ago, that I've got new stuff now. That's important to me. Do I play keys at all? No. Oh, someone asked about the signature guitar. We can't talk about that yet, but this will obviously be the place where that comes to fruition first. I'll just say it's super exciting. It's an honor. It was going to be a big thing at NAMM this year. That's all I'm saying. Now NAMM is virtual, so you'll hear about it in January, and I couldn't be more excited. And I promise you, it is freaking ruling. Favorite Marshall amp? I like a super bass. I like 70s ones too, metal face super basses if you can find them. Pack of strings. My pack of strings are Gabriel Tenorio Custom String Company, made here in Los Angeles, and they're super heavy. They're pure nickel, and they're gauge 13, 17, 26, 36, 44, 58. Is the Chapin going to be retired? For 2 years it is. That's all I can say. I really don't want to talk about it. Just know that it's a huge opportunity for me, and I'm really proud, and it's coming, and that's all I'll say. Oh, no, a Clippers question. Well, now the stream took a turn. Yes, I'm depressed. The Clippers curse may be real. I feel for the 50-year fans, the life for Billy Crystal. You know, I've been a fan since I moved here. I've had season tickets a number of years. I love the Clippers. If they blow it tomorrow, you will not want to be around me for the next 48 hours. Oh, $5 for strings. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. I get it now. Oh, well, it will be the guitar. I can't I'm sorry. I already put my foot in my mouth. I can't talk about it, but everybody knows what guitar is associated with me. So let your imagination run wild. Do I ever put the pick down? I sometimes put the pick down, but normally it's just flipped up. You know, if I play whatever. I just flip it up into my palm when I really want just the finger sound. But so much of what I play is hybrid pick that you're hearing picking fingers all the time anyways. Oh, there is a Josh Smith signature set of strings. Those you can buy from Gabriel Tenorio. lgtsco.com. lgtsstringcompany.com. Gabriel Tenorio Strings Company. I'll post the link in this video after it stays up. What kind of action neck relief do I like? I like very standard action. Not too high, not too low. I like it higher on a Strat than on the Telly. Telly, I like just medium, comfortable action. I want my neck as straight as I can possibly get it. And the nice thing about my strings is it keeps that sucker straight. I don't detune like on planes and things like that. My strings just hold the thing in place. How to get Jimmy tone on a medium budget. Well, get a Fender Bassman. Go buy like a silver face Bassman for $700 at a pawn shop. Get yourself a fuzz face, an Octavia, a wah pedal, and a Univibe, and any Strat. You're good. That's what I would do. Someone else asking about Eric's album. I did a long rap on it earlier, but it's great. And if you watch the replay, I spoke at length about how great Eric is and how excited I am about the album and what kind of a process it was. What do I get out of frets? I refret every year almost, year and a half. It's just the way I like it. I don't like stainless steel frets. I still like nickel frets. So obviously these big strings, they make a mark. And I prefer to just dress them once, and then they got to go. Lefty version of the SIG guitar? That's a good question that I haven't actually thought of yet, and I need to talk to them about that. I appreciate you bringing that up. What is it about blues that touches me? Oh, man, from the first moment I heard, B.B. King play. It was like, bam, someone punched me in the gut. When I heard Albert King go, and he let out the first woo, I did too. It was involuntary response. I couldn't help myself. And it's been that way since I was a kid. The only thing I listen to every day of my life without fail is Albert King. It's just what I live, what I love, where I come from. Now, I love all music, and I listen to everything, but that's where my heart resides. The 13s get woofy sometimes. Not for me, but I play a little brighter than the average person because, everybody's going for the fattest tone possible. But the problem is when you have the fattest tone possible, the people out front can't always hear every note you play. And that's very important to me. It's part of the reason I dial out compression, that I need the headroom, and that I have just a little more treble than most people normally do without being ice picky or strident. And I'm looking for clarity because clarity then allows me to be dynamic. When I have clarity and lack of compression, I can be as dynamic as I want to be with these and with this. And so that's what I'm looking for. Do I have crazy stories from the road? I have many crazy stories for the road, but those I got to save those for members only. Some of them are not safe for work. What's the best way to learn theory? Start at the beginning. Start with the major scale and the circle of fifths. You can buy a book, Mel Bay, Berkeley Guitar Course 1, the black book with the green number on the front. That was the one for me as a kid. And just work your way through the basics, but start with the major scale. Start to understand intervals. They're the building blocks. The major scale and intervals are the building blocks of all music, at least Western music we play. Have I thought about selling my presets for the Eventide? No, but that's something I may end up putting on the Discord for members, possibly. Red Shull, I did his podcast. He's a great dude. What a nice guy. And he's been very supportive, and he let me pick his brain on a lot of YouTube questions as I was getting ready to hurl myself into this abyss. So as far as playing a live thing with him, I don't know. He's in Atlanta, so who knows when the next time I'll be in Atlanta. It's hard to find good local musicians to play blues with. Yeah, that's one thing I was very fortunate with as a child. I started going out to clubs when I was 12 and 13 years old, and then I joined a band of adults, 40-year-old men, playing blues. And I was forced to solo all night long, 3 sets a night as a kid. And that enabled me to build a vocabulary much faster. Not just vocabulary, stamina. The ability to say a lot of stuff without just regurgitating it over and over, and start to learn how to work a room, how to work your gear, how to become a professional. And yeah, unfortunately, that's missing now. Gigs are not what they were. And it's harder for people to get, that on-the-job training. Everybody's growing so much faster now because of YouTube and lessons that you end up with these players who know a million times more than I even know now, but have barely played any gigs. And if we sit down to just jam on a vamp, like a 1-4 vamp, they'll run out of stuff to say sometimes when it becomes purely improvisational. So, because they just haven't been put in that situation enough. And yeah, that's something that gets missed. And the only thing you can do about it is take every gig, especially initially as a kid. Anybody that calls you to come play at their bar mitzvah, their wedding, back up that singer-songwriter down at the bar, the Irish pub, playing acoustic guitar and just strumming. Take every gig. Favorite tattoo? This one for my son, Riley B. and B.B. King. My son's named after Riley B. King. He's Riley B. Smith. So that's that. And then this Marshall is for my daughter. And it says Mackenzie instead of Marshall. So those are my favorite for my kids. Is there pressure to play with Eric and Bonamassa and guys like that? No, it's the most fun thing in the world, to be around like-minded friends. When I moved to L.A. 18 years ago now, and I met Kirk Fletcher, we became brothers like that because I'd never met somebody so similar to me. Now, we couldn't have further backgrounds on, where we come from individually and who we are, but yet we shared so much that it was like we were brothers from the moment we met. And those are the best moments to be on stage. You're never looking to show anybody up. You're never if you'll notice, there's a lot of videos of me on stage in those jam situations when I'm the one waving traffic cones and directing traffic, making sure everybody gets their moment to shine, because I want to make sure that there's no pressure in those situations, that we're having a good time and it's about music. So I love those moments, playing with my brothers, with my friends, and being creative and improvising. When somebody plays something you don't normally play with, it's going to make you play something else. And that's what the world I want to be in every minute, is being creative and improvising. Is music losing its soul? No, there's great music being made in GarageBand and, with Ableton, and, it's all about the person, not the technology, not the gear, not the technique. It's about the person and what are they feeling, and you either feel it or you don't. I take every piece of music on its own accord. Do I like producing and recording as much as playing? No, but I love it. And 10 years ago, I would have never said that ever. I didn't want to know how to run Pro Tools. Now I can run an entire session by myself, produce a whole record, and be fast on Pro Tools and get good sounds. And, so I didn't want to do any of that. I just wanted to play my guitar. But as things changed, I realized it was just another way I was growing as a musician, and it was making me a better guitar player, whether I knew it or not at the time. And so now I look at every production, session, recording job through those lenses of like, you know what, I'm going to bring this back into my guitar playing, and I'm going to be better tomorrow than I was today. Again, same thing. I have not seen 11-year-old Taj play on YouTube. Somebody put a link. I'll look at it later tonight or tomorrow. What would I tell someone graduating from GIT today? Dude, diversify as much as you possibly can. Take every gig, get on YouTube, get on Instagram, demo gear, do anything you possibly have to do to keep this your only job. Because the second that fades and you start to do these other little things, sometimes it's hard to get the passion back. At least I've found that. Any collabs with Joey Landreth coming up? Actually, I sent Joey a tune to sing on what will be not my next record, but 2 records down. The pandemic has afforded ample time to be creative. So I've got a few records in the can, and Joey sang a ballad that I wrote. That the second I wrote it, I was like, man, this guy's got to sing that song. I just heard his voice on it, and he crushed it, of course. Any chance to play with Derek? I talked to him actually the other day. I'm trying to get him at least to come on a live from Flat 5 interview with me. We'll see. He's a busy man, but we're friends since we were this tall. What does being a producer entail? What's my role? And someone else says, what was my role on the Eric Gales album? So my role on the Eric Gales album was co-producer. Joe and I produced it together. So that could be writing. It's definitely arranging. It's talking to the band, telling them how you hear things, what you want out of them. It's worrying about sounds. It's worrying about everything. It's listening down when you're taking vocals, picking vocals, comping vocals. It's helping the artist get the best version of what they already want inside, and then show them some things they didn't even think about yet that will make that better. But mostly you're trying to execute their goal. Now, Eric, we had a special goal of we wanted so badly to make it as great as possible. So we put in just a giant effort into the project. But the goal is to help somebody get their feelings and their spirit onto a piece of music, and I really enjoy that. And balancing people's creative side, their egos, their personalities. You learn a lot on every session because every human is a different person, and you have to approach those sessions completely differently. And I really enjoy the process. Play with Art Menezes someday. I played with Art many times, and I produced his last 2 records. The new one is coming out soon, and I think it's a tremendous step forward from the last one. So I know Art very well, and yeah, I produced his. Well, be on the lookout for his next record. It was recorded right here in Flat 5 Studios, and be coming out soon. Does a producer have to know how to run a session? Some don't. Some do. It's better if you do. It's better if you can communicate the sound you're looking to try to get and be a problem solver. So, yeah. Can I mix a record? I can. Do I do it yet? No. I'm not a good enough mixer. I can convey what I want. I work with mixers that do it better than I do it. So, you got to know what your role is. The producer is the overseer. It's about managing all the aspects of the record to make it the best final product that conveys what the artist was trying to say. Do I always have my pedal board? Yeah, normally. But I like the loop thing so that I can play straight to the amp. When nothing's on, It's like I'm plugged straight into the amp. That's straight into my Morgan JS12 signature amp. Shameless plug. Do I use other overdrives? Absolutely. I use the King Tone Soloist / Duelist with Strat. I use the Myriad Fuzz, of course, all the time. I use Love Pedal Purple Plexi sometimes. On the new board, I'm going to have the Chase Bliss preamp pedal. I have the Mythos Argonaut. I have lots of drive pedals that I like. But the Chula is my home base. Joe B is a serious guy. Well, I think the reason Joe and I are such fast friends and why we've almost pseudo created a little production team, where we're doing these records together and we have some other ones down the line. I think it's because we come from the same place as far as seriousness. We care just about making everything as good as it could be and working hard. We don't mess around. We just go to do the job and do the work as good as you can and don't fool around. That's where we come from. Oh, being a musician helps being a producer amazingly because you can convey to the musicians, hey, let's make that chord a major 7 instead of a straight major chord. Or, hey, play that just root 5th, or, hey, I need Motown on that drum beat, I don't need stacks. Or you need to be able to explain these things to people. Other producers get away good with not being a musician, but they talk in a more esoteric way. They tell people, I need this to feel moody and dark or blue. And no, that's not right. They just say that's not right until it's right. But sometimes that creates a great atmosphere that lets a record happen. But, I wouldn't trade being a musician and producer for the other way around. I need to go off and, write charts or whatever. I need to be able to, talk to horn players, tell a B3 player, pull this drawbar out. I got to be able to convey to anybody what needs to happen. Yes, my signature eminent speaker is in the JS12. How do you make something your own? Man, a lot of that is just being, I can't help but be me. I'm not a good imitator anymore. Everything just comes out like me, but that's 30 years of experience and working towards that common goal of being myself. So you got to make a conscious decision to do that. It doesn't mean if you play a cover, you got to change it around so it doesn't sound anything like the original. No, it's the intent. It's where you're coming from. Is Bird my biggest jazz influence? 1,000,000%. Bird is my biggest jazz influence. Blues, should we keep it traditional or move forward? Both, of course. Everyone we grew up listening to and that they grew up listening to, they were moving this stuff forward. When Robert Johnson played, he was light years better than the guys who were before him. When Hubert Sumlin started to play, he was better than the guys before him. B.B. King took what he was hearing. T-Bone Walker and Lonnie Johnson were light years ahead of what guys were doing. B.B. King took that and then added the singing and the arrangements and that tender feeling. Albert King added the aggression. Johnny Guitar Watson brought his thing, a different kind of sound and a different kind of funk and swagger. Everybody was trying to do the best they can and be the authentic them. They weren't worried about, I need to sound just like this guy or that guy. They were trying to make, it's the same reason Stevie Wonder now, when you go see him play, does he have a Rhodes and a B3? No, he's got all the newest stuff. We wish he had the vintage stuff, of course, but he's not. He's pushing himself forward. Whether we like it or not, he's going to play the arpeggi and whatever he can because he wants to be on the cutting edge because that's the way these guys came up. You're going to try to do the new thing, be better. And, man, that should be the way it is. Am I a fan of Bossa Nova? Yeah. I don't listen to it a ton, but I love Joe Beam. Did you sometimes build a guitar? I've never built a guitar. I would actually like to do that. I'd love to learn how to build an archtop guitar or an acoustic guitar. Am I a fan of the IBCs and the blues competition? Jeff, you're asking the wrong dude about that. I can't seem to get a foothold into the blues community in any way at all. Whether I make a straight blues record or not, whether I put money into trying to get into that blues world or not, it's persona non grata. So for me, it has not been worth it to try to go down those roads. But whatever, it's worth it for other people. After being in the business so long, what inspires me still? The music part, playing. There's still nothing that, besides being with my family and watching, my teams hopefully win, like the Clippers tomorrow, hopefully. Jeez Louise. Music is my greatest thrill. It has been since I was a child. Nothing makes me feel like the way I feel when I pick this thing up and something comes out of thin air. It just arrives. I hear it already right now. Something's telling me to play. There's always a groove. There's a something. That's what I live for. It's musical inspiration. It's always in there, and you just drag it out at all times. I have this narration in my head at all times. Do I dig Tower of Power? Are you kidding me? Woo! Ain't nothing I can say, nothing I can do. I'm not going to embarrass myself with the cold that I have and sing that song. I can't blame you. Woo! But I love Tower Power. Did I ever catch Hollywood Fats? No, I never had the chance to see him. I would have loved to. I didn't mean to say I'm persona non grata in the blues community, but the blues community is a very closed circuit. And when I moved to L.A., I kind of gave up on that. I wanted to be a sideman, session guy, just a guitar player. And as life has turned me back into a solo artist, I had 20 years almost of ignoring that scene. So it's hard to just break through a wall and get in there again. That's all I meant. Improvisation is the most magical thing. Can I read music? Yes, I can. Slowly, but pretty well. Does it help me out as a session player? Sometimes, but most of the time it's not important. Helps on like movie sessions, but if it's serious single note reading, I'm not the guy for you. Who were my first inspirations? B.B. King, Albert King, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimi Hendrix, Danny Gatton, Roy Lanham, Otis Rush, Magic Sam. These were the things I cut my teeth on as a kid. Tips for starting singing. That's for me, I'm always working on that all the time. And you either like my voice or you don't. And I've heard it both ways from everybody. But I know I'm a better singer now than I was when I was 20 years old because I've worked on it. I can at least sing in pitch now, and I know I can put a show across. If you come see me play for 2 hours, I can put that show across, and you're not going to leave going, man, I wish it was just instrumental. So I'm doing my best, and I think I sing better on every record. But the best tip is sing as much as you can. That's really, Warren Haynes, David Gilmour, amazing. Love them all. Ronnie Earl, oh, are you kidding me? Woo! Man, when I was a kid and I first heard his... Wish I had my Strat. Robin Trower, okay, I'll be honest. He was never one of my guys. There's some songs I like, but I can't tell you with a straight face that I've listened to the whole Robin Trower catalog. I'm sure I'm missing out, but I'm just being honest. What took me down the path of Cornell Dupree? Just realizing all these great parts I were hearing on records were all from the same guy. And it's like, light bulb, holy cow, I need to know everything I can about this dude. Talk about great rhythm guitar players, just great guitar players, but unparalleled. excuse me, essential jazz and blues songs to practice. I can make a list like that. If not a video, I can make it in the Discord or something like that. The UK dates for this year, unfortunately, are kaput. Move to next year. Young players that do a good job playing through the chords. In the blues world, sure. Pat Harrington knows what he's doing and plays through the chords. He plays in Victor's band. Who else plays through the chords very well? Kid Anderson plays through the chords. It's not about always, in the blues world, you don't have to do that. That's just where I'm coming from. It's important to me. You have to have regard for the chords, But, yeah. Favorite B.B. King album? Blues is King. An album with Danish Pete and Kirk. That would be an interesting trio. Kirk and I, it's a certainty that one day that will happen. And Matt Schofield. We've been talking about it forever. Me, Matt, and Kirk. Triple album. The new Showdown or whatever. We've talked about it. We just need to actually get off our butts and do it. What do the Clippers need to do tomorrow to wrap this up? Play hard for 48 minutes. I think if you watch this series, it's obvious they're the better team. And when they play at their best, to me, it's obvious they're the best team in the league. The problem is they do it for 12 minutes, and then they don't do it for 10 minutes. And, consistency, man. I like Doc Rivers a lot as a person, and I've enjoyed him as a coach. But if this collapse completes tomorrow, I don't know that he survives. My Fender Strat was put together by Mark Rudders. Well, I go back to the pedal show in the UK. If time allows, and they want me back. I love those guys so much. Do I like J.J. Cale? Yeah. Talk about changes. I'm going to make, my video with the spiel about playing through the changes like I always do. Because there's a video of it that has like millions of views, and I would like to get some of those onto my channel. So that video is coming for certain. What did I steal from Roy Buchanan? Melody, technique, and intent. He's such a melodic player. When you listen to me play on, Penance, like... That's all straight from him, Mixed with me a little bit, but he was so melodic and he had such a unique sound and an intent, man. I believe that stuff when he plays it. How'd I meet Raphael Sadiq and play with him? He just called me out of the blue, basically to come audition for his band when he was coming out with the Way I See It record, which was his more Motowny record. And I have a reputation for being good at that stuff, I guess, because I love it. So I went in there, and the first thing we played was... And that was it, That's going to get me flagged on this live stream. Ugh. I don't think I should play covers because it'll pull the video. Also, there's an option to edit it out, the parts. Somebody said play Soothe Me. Why not? Yeah. Steve Cropper's a G on that song. My Ted Green fan, of course. Maple or Rosewood, both. But on tellies, I prefer Maple. What song pushes me the most of my own? I don't know. I got to think about that. How can I play rhythm without it feeling like I'm just strumming chords? You got to invent the groove in your head, man. So let's just invent one like I did earlier, right? So I'm hearing something. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry. So lock that in. Right? And then start messing with it. Boom. So I'm going to do a whole video about what I just did there at the end, which is starting to work on my internal clock. It's really important. You got to marry this clock that you have inside you to these so that everything you're feeling, that pulse, you can get it out. It's the same thing. I'm sure you a lot of times hear a solo in your head that's better than what you can actually play. You got to eliminate those barriers. Guthrie Trapp, he's great and a nice guy. Thank you for loving Live at the Spud. All right, dudes, we're hitting the hour mark. I think I'm going to go do a quick live one on Instagram now so I can explain the channel slightly for those gentlemen who are not yet subscribed on the YouTube channel because I want to funnel everybody over. And when I get off, I'll go in the Discord and add everybody in new. I appreciate new people subscribing and the few super chats that I saw. That was really cool. Wasn't expecting that. But I really appreciate everybody, the enthusiasm that I'm seeing so far about the channel. I have big plans. Just know that, I'm going to do my very best with it, but also work gets in the way, as does life. But I have a lot of plans. And the rest of this year, at least, for sure, is going to be where my emphasis lies. So thank you, guys. How do you join the Discord? You become a top-level member of the YouTube membership, and then you get the link to the Discord for free. That's one of the perks of being a YouTube member. The effing rulers, the top tier. All right, everybody. I really appreciate the support. Ruling.